Hello and welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the Bitcoin rainbow chart as well as other Bitcoin leading indicators. So let's get into it and start off with fear and greed. And something that I've been watching with greed, especially since we had this spike, is to see if we would continue making lower highs and lower lows. Typically, when that has happened in the past, then this can be a leading indicator or a front running indicator for what is going to happen with the markets in the near future. You can see that in 2020, late 2020, when greed was staying higher for longer, that one of the cycle tops did come in later. So I would like for this, if we are going to get alt season and the true cycle top anytime soon, then you would like for this to stay up pretty high into greed. But we're still elevated in extreme greed, so do be cautious. And if this is a local top, then it's possible you may still have some good buying opportunities for some of these altcoins. And as we do talk about altcoins, I know a lot of you here aren't just here for Bitcoin. You're here for altcoins. You're here for mining stocks. And an important thing to know about is the Bitcoin dominance chart and the cycle. And basically, what this means is when there is a rotation from all the money that's in Bitcoin. So, right now, it's like 58% of all money in crypto is in Bitcoin. When that rotates over to altcoins, that can tend to be a very good thing. And so, as we go over to the alt season index, as you can see here, still trending upward, making higher highs, higher lows, still in that all-time high, or this cycle's all-time high as far as making these higher highs and lows. So not since the last cycle, the 4-year cycle, which we'll talk about in a second, have we seen levels this high. So once you see alt season index pop up here, then you'll know that's a possible take profit area. But again, we had multiple spikes up there last time. There really was, in my opinion, just the two spikes. Yes, some alts did spike later on, but this one in the middle right here in quarter one, quarter two of 2021 was the true alt season. And then getting into the Bitcoin rainbow chart. So as you can see, it's getting towards that orange band there, or the light orange band. And if we were to get there, let's just say anytime soon, let me try to draw that up. This is just middle of December, so this would be in about 6 days. That light orange band would be around 111K. And a couple things I've been talking about with the rainbow chart since I started this channel, and we started this channel before we had the halving, and I noted how that there are patterns in crypto, and the patterns tend to make a lot of people in the crypto space, especially on YouTube and X, fall into these predictions just based off the pattern. So guys, do note that your strategy is more important than any prediction. Try to have a plan, a strategy that can work regardless of whatever plays out, because when you play the prediction game, more often than not, you are going to lose. So just keep that in mind. But something to note is that each halving went up a color zone. You can see that right there each time. And then since 2013, it's the peaks have been going down a color zone each time. So that's why, conservatively speaking, I'm looking at the orange zone. If we did have an early top, let's say March, you take a look at that orange zone around 155 to 200K. Later on, if we did have something like a 4-year cycle, as we've had before, you see every 4 years we've had these peaks. This one here, November, December 2013, December 2017, November 2021. Though alt season was here, so are we going to get a 4-year cycle from this point? Remains to be seen. But let's say we got something further. Let's just go October. That orange band is around 183 to 235K. And jumping into Bitcoin. So right now I have it zoomed in. There's two lines right here that I am watching to see which breaks first. So this line right here is the 1618 fib. I'll zoom out, show you that in a minute. And this trend line that's ascending upwards, this line right here is the trend line from the Bitcoin double top from 2021. So this double top right here, it creates a trend line that's right here that's been acting somewhat as support. So if we zoom way out, you can see this right here. Sorry about the mess. But this trend line, You can see that's what Bitcoin's above. And this right here is the 1618. And so as far as the Fibonacci retracement, you see here's the fib tool. You draw from your prior high to the low. If you're looking at price action in between, you have it on log scale. We're on log. But when you're taking a look at price targets, you click your fib, go to settings, take it off log scale, which it is right now, and the 1618 is at 101.8, or just let's say 102K. Remember what we were talking about with the rainbow chart? The 2618 is at 155K, and then the 3618 is at 208K. So something I've been thinking about since last cycle, and feel free to disagree in the comments below or let me know your thoughts, is I've been thinking a lot about inflation and how it might affect this crypto cycle. So there's a couple things I want to show you today. I try to offer something new every week when we do these, just offer different perspectives. Each cycle, and this is sort of why we have the phenomena of the Bitcoin rainbow chart, because there is a logarithmic, that's factor 10, regression. Though in the beginning it was going up higher, the regression is over time, it starts to go sideways. It looks very similar to the COVID statistics that we don't want to talk about from a few years ago, as more people are getting infected and then it was leveling out over time. So the way that looks with these fibs, the Fibonacci retracement, each cycle, the fib level for Bitcoin is hit a lower fib. So last cycle, it got between the 3618 and the 4236. Y'all remember that the Bitcoin high, the first peak was about 65K, the second peak was about 69K. And so it did get between the 3618 and the 4236, closer to 4236. And so my assertion this time around has been, and this is shown on the rainbow chart too, how we have that regression, how we hit lower peaks, is that, instead of hitting the 3618 to the 4236, that we would fall somewhere in here, the 2618, the 3618 at best. All right. And again, if you take the pattern of the rainbow chart, the peaks, you'd say, okay, orange box, 155K, just like we talked about, somewhere in that orange box, does the opposite with the halvings, all right? If it's to continue the same pattern. And then I got to thinking, and I was thinking about inflation since the year 2000. Now, there was all the money printing going on, people getting stimulus checks for absolutely nothing. Big reason why we have inflation, like 6 trillion was printed out of thin air. I was looking up, and you guys can fact check me on this, that the value of our dollar from the year 2000 till now has lost 20%. So around 20% of the value of our dollar has been diminished. And I was saying to myself, okay, let's say Bitcoin, we have this 2618 target, or at least I do. My guess it's going to be somewhere around there. Let's say we add 20% to the 2618 at 155K. I was wondering, where would that put us? It was just some food for thought, some fun thinking. And so the 2618, you can see the number way over here on the right, actually. Let's do that. 20% give or take, 184K. So I think that, again, it falls in line with a couple things. One, a lot of people have been calling for 200K. All right. I've been calling for 155K. Again, predictions don't matter as much as your strategy, and feeling right is nice, or being right is nice, but making money is nicer. So let's get that out of the way. But maybe we do go up a little bit higher than expected because of inflation. So inflation organically raises the prices of stocks over time. That's just what happens. I remember the days, I think it was around 15 years ago or so, where it was unbelievable that stocks were reaching a $1 trillion market cap. But then they did, and now they're 3 to 4 trillion. So I think as long as we keep inflation in the back of our mind and what it can do, it's not that all these stocks and cryptos are being worth more. It's more so that our dollars are worth less. And so when our dollars are worth less, 20% less, I think to myself, why can't Bitcoin end up being 20% more than our target? So 155 to 184K, just something I've been thinking about. Keep that in the back of your mind. Another indicator I wanted to show y'all today was talking with a buddy of mine, and he showed me about this one. You all know how I like the RSIs. There's this indicator called the Ultimate RSI by Lux Algo. I want to give credit to where it's due. I want to zoom way out here. Sometimes I do this with the RSIs and zoom way out on the monthly. And you see with the Ultimate RSI how high these peaks have gotten to. And we could take a look over at the right. You can see that in 2013, the peaks out at like 98, 99, 2017, 99, 2021, that first peak in April. Again, that's when all season was 98. We are not at that level yet. And so this is something I'm going to start watching is that where is Bitcoin going to be when the RSI gets up here to 98? Now, is that going to mark the true top? Maybe. We can zoom in a little bit further. On the weekly, you can see the Ultimate RSI on the weekly at least. It can get up here and then stay up here for longer. So when it does get very elevated, do be careful. You can see that's what happened with the top in March. So I do think, in a way, as far as the macro signals, this does work better as far as taking it out on the monthly. On the monthly, it's done a good job calling tops. Now, yes, this peak right here, the red line, that was the top, but you can see how these peaks each time are calling the top. So where is the next top going to be? We will see. But that is an indicator I think it would be worth for us to be watching. Let's get into a couple other indicators. Let's go over to Bitcoin dominance. And we don't really need this one on, but you can see similarly. Ultimate RSI, look at what happened last time. So this goes to show you Bitcoin dominance wasn't done tanking, even though it went all the way down. It peaked and then tanked one more time. Let's take this off though. We had this line, the 62% line that we almost nailed, pretty much nailed exactly to a T. And again, being right doesn't matter as much as making money, but I just drew my trend line left, saw where Bitcoin dominance tanked the last time, and then to see if there's any convergence. There's some convergences there, but Bitcoin dominance been coming off that line. I am taking a look for the dominance to come down somewhere around, give or take this, let's just say 52%, somewhere around here. If we are to form a base, whether it goes sideways and then down, or it comes back up like it did in 2021 and then comes down, I'm looking for some sort of base around this area for Bitcoin dominance. Let's take a look at Tether dominance. This one's been good at calling local tops. And as you can see, Tether dominance here is hitting that trend line again. Now, I have my trend line drawn differently. A lot of people did. In order to account for these tops, this was the top before COVID and the double top, as well as the March top here. I'll show you where that is. So the double top, the top before COVID, the March top right here. All those dips here didn't quite hit the trend line, but if we zoom way in to the 2017 peak and the 2019 top, and if we just draw it out from there, that is where the Tether dominance is touching right now. So it does make sense for this to break under this ascending trend line eventually anyways, and if you were to draw to these peaks, it is. But I do think it's curious if we drop from the 2017 and 2019 peaks that it's hitting it right now. So this has been good at calling local tops. The one exception, of course, is the alt season in March 21. It stayed on that trend line for longer. And I have noted in the past, if we just take a look at the regular RSI, the relative strength index, on the weekly, when it's underneath the 50 line, that tends to be very, very bullish for crypto. So as long as it keeps staying under the strength of 50 here on the weekly, that tends to be pretty good. I'm curious what it looks like on the monthly. So yeah, you can see there, just staying down lower each cycle tends to be pretty good for that. Next, let's go over to Ethereum. Maybe we'll end there. So Ethereum right here, let's make sure our fib is on log scale. Let's see where it is. And come on now. Oh, I forgot. So I have to put that on log. You have to put your chart on log and then do that. All right. So a couple things going on. One, Ethereum's come up to the 888, which is also the tops back here and around 4,000. The 888, sometimes a good little fake out area to watch. but it has broken underneath, or yes, broken out of this descending trend line right here, come up to that 888. So again, I want to see this get past it. The 4,000 level here, you see all this price action. Otherwise, this could still be a fake out. This could still be a local top, and we could fall back in this wedge and get ready to come out later. And as you can see where this wedge tightens, it's kind of around later this year. And if we don't get in alt season or get above the 1618 for Bitcoin, which is at, I've shown you guys this, the 102K area right here. If we don't get above that anytime soon, people have been talking about the inauguration being bearish, then we could still be looking at a 4-year cycle again sometime later in 2025. A little piece of data that goes along with that is that on average, the markets after the inauguration do tend to go sideways and even down just for a little bit. And you see there 180 days, about 6 months. So could we be in for that? I don't know, but just have both scenarios in your head. If you guys haven't made a plan, do make a plan. If you hit your price targets, it's okay to take profits. If Bitcoin dominance is zipping down to these low 40 percentiles, that probably means we're in alt season. We have the alt season index, I'll be showing you that. And if the rainbow chart's getting into the orange, if that happens within the next few months, then that's probably red alert, take profit area. But if we do stop at this 1618 at about 102K and aren't able to get above it, then I think that inauguration chart may end up playing out, which plays right into the 4-year cycle. So just wanted to show both sorts of scenarios and let you guys put your money where your mouth is, see which scenario that you think will happen. So comment below. Do you think we're going to have the true peak within the next 6 months, or do you think it's going to be another 4-year cycle? As well as where do you think the top's going to be? We talked about that a bit today. Do you think it's going to be at 155K, or adjusted for inflation, that 20% extra on our dollars, or our dollars being worth 20% less, will it be around 185K? So let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Take care.